G'day everyone, Craig here again, and today I'm lucky to be chatting to Carolyn from AOK. Those of you who've seen the post, I would have seen that I did an assist suicide intervention training course a few months ago, and Carolyn ran it, and she is the CEO of AOK, and I would urge anyone and everyone to do the course. So like I say, I'm lucky to have Carolyn here today to chat about that course and the other programs that AOK presents. So welcome, Carolyn. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Craig.
How's everything going?
Yeah, it's been going good. Just, with the, I guess, post-lockdown, just trying to get as much face-to-face training out there as possible. So, yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah, I guess this time, this unknowns that we're in at the moment, I guess the training that you guys, that AOK do is, I guess, fundamental to how we're going to get through this, because it is, I mean, in my job, I do see a lot of people that do end up or had struggled through lockdown and getting back to normal. I hate using that term normal, but getting back to what things used to be like. I guess that's something that you've probably seen as well with going around the countryside presenting the courses and things.
Yeah. There's definitely been a shift in what is normal. People are really trying to figure or reconfigure their routines. And so what's been interesting is I think while people have sort of been moving forward and just trying to reconfigure stuff, they're also kind of realizing, okay, now that we can use Zoom and now we can do this, it's like the workload has just increased.
Yeah.
And so while we're trying to deal with post-COVID, the changes, the workload has increased, like this is just kind of making these skills more needed for our communities. Yeah, it's an interesting time.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it is. And you sort of see what's happening in, I guess, the likes of Australia and things like that, where they're unfortunately going backwards. And I guess there is those heightened anxieties in New Zealand, especially if we are on top of it at the moment, but if it gets out and about again, what could happen and things like that. And I know doing this assist course, it helped me. I mean, it's helped me in so many ways, just in my personal life and being able to reflect with what I do and things like that, but also giving me the courage, I guess, and the knowledge to know that I can have those tough chats or tricky chats, courageous chats, I suppose, with someone that is in crisis. So I guess I could talk about assist, but how about coming from you? Well, what is the assist program and how can that help? And then the other programs as well that AOK have.
So, I mean, the assist training is an opportunity really to be able to grab some really important, significant skills, especially when it comes to being able to have these kinds of what we would call hard, tough conversations. It's not often that we sort of sit around and really ask people how they are. And there's a lot of reasons why people don't do that. A lot of reasons around being afraid, not knowing what to say. We're brought up in a country where, we live within our boundaries. We have fences, we have windows, we have doors, and I'm saying this because I'm Samoan. In the islands, I guess the housing structures are a little bit different. It's a lot more open. You can kind of just visit next door neighbors and things like that. But here, it's really hard to kind of have these conversations because there's just so many boundaries. And so people don't check in and people don't ask how you are. And so this training hopes to kind of break some of that down, or some of the stigma and the tapu that is around these conversations. And then it allows people to really learn, what to say, how to start the conversation, how to keep the conversation going. We always ask people to kind of listen when people are talking. What assist how equips people to do is know what to listen out for. Because if we know what we're listening out for, that kind of helps us sort of move into the next steps rather than just trying to be respectful and trying to be, open to everything they're saying. We really need to learn what is it that we're listening out for so that we know what to do next and we know how to keep them safe. And quite often, the answers sit in that. And it really takes the pressure off us. it takes the pressure off you thinking you've got to come up with the answer, you've got to fix them, you've got to come up with the solutions, you know, you've got to have them for the rest of the week. Like, it takes the pressure off you. And so really teaching people how to hear and how to listen alleviates a lot of that pressure. It makes the intervention more, I guess, partnership, rather than you feeling like you've got to lead them into this safe place. It really does bring it back into that, and it's just getting people to be human again. And I guess that's the essence of it. It's not just, let's go in and have these hard conversations with everyone. It's actually, no, let's just be human, learn how to listen, learn how to, you know, show people that we really care, learn how to help people. And these are really the key parts of the training, is tell them that you care, tell them that you know, really are trying to help them understand, and that we really are trying to help them get the help they need.
For sure. And I think we are, as a society, we are starting to get better at asking the "Are you okay?" questions, but I think we're still, I think I even talked about this when I was doing the program, we still are afraid of what might come back at us. And I mean, we are talking about suicide here. It is a big subject. And I think people do get, and it doesn't have to be. I think there's just that whole stigma attached to suicide, where I think if someone says, well, no, they actually are thinking about taking their lives, that you have that, oh, geez, what am I going to do now sort of thing. It's whereas the assist gives you the tools to make safe for now, to get to a point where, hey, we can work through this together. And like I say, we're not going to fix them. They and I think during the assist, it does prove that it's like, well, actually they have the answer. They can. We're just guiding. We're there to guide. We listen out and things like that. And that's what I found so powerful about it, was, yep, hey, we've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Let's use our 2 ears twice as much. We have to listen, because if we don't, then we might say something or do something that's wrong. But like I say, it is the assist, I think, is powerful. It was powerful, and it is going to be something that I have in my armory for the rest of my life, really.
Cool.
And what about the other programs you have? I know that assist is probably quite high up on the rung. I sort of just went zero to hero and jumped straight in there. There are the other ones that AOK programs that they have as well.
Yeah, so I guess you're right. The assist training is really, I guess, it's the person that can kind of get in there and do the CPR, you know, have those real intimate, deep conversations to be able to draw that little bit of life out. If you look at the suicide prevention spectrum, it's important that people know, everybody knows that they play a role. So if you kind of start from the point where somebody is in the place of distress, if you were to see that, you would have a role straight away. Your role would be, I can see someone is crying out for help or is in need of help. Now, I need to either connect with them or I need to go get some help. And that's a role in itself, and that's what we call the awareness and the connector sort of role. So the awareness is realizing that somebody's crying out for help, and also knowing that there's help out there. The connector is the person who has the capacity to start that conversation. And I think it's really important that people know that you can be the connector regardless of where you are. Just being able to recognize that cry for help or that signal for help, and then being able to know how to start that conversation, I guess with the mindset that you know that there are other roles. That role is really important. So we have a couple of trainings around that called Safe Talk and Checkmate. Safe Talk looks at recognizing whether someone's thinking about suicide and then connecting with them and then connecting them on to someone who can keep them safe. Checkmate is a fairly new program and a fairly new concept, and it really focuses on coping strategies. So it's asking people, you know, it's recognizing the cry for help again, but being able to ask people, how are you coping? You know, and then kind of working along the scale around, okay, what sort of coping mechanisms are you using? Are they healthy? Are they not healthy? And then asking them or listening out for whether suicide might be one of those coping mechanisms. So it's a really cool program that's focused on mates chatting to mates, but it has a coping context rather than a suicide prevention context. So that's what we call the connector stuff. Over onto the other side of the assist training, not everyone has 2 days, and we've kind of discovered that, you know, in delivering this training for about 10 years. And this is the thing, we can't afford to miss people out. Like if there are people that want to be a suicide first aider and they can't do the assist, we can't say to people, no, you can't have these skills. I just think it's unfair, especially in the state that our country is in.
Yes. Yeah.
So we've had to go out and hunt for a, you know, a training that works for those people that can't do the 2 days. So we have one called Suicide First Aid. It's not as intense as assist because it's done in a day, but you still get to cover most of the learning objectives. The difference is you won't get as much practice time. And some people appreciate that because they're just like, I just need the skills. I need to be able to know what to do. And
Yes,
so that's an option for them.
Yeah.
And then on the far end, because I do need to say, safety is only the beginning. Recognizing someone's thinking about suicide or someone's in a real unsafe space, that's step 1. Step 2 is being able to start the conversation. Step 3 is now being able to keep them safe. Step 4 is now about how do we help them get some resolve around the issues that have caused them to be in this space in the first place. And that conversation is a massive conversation. That conversation is, it may take some time in terms of digging up, you know, sort of what's broke or what's broken. And I'm using language that people with lived experience have used. You know, they usually say, you know, I don't know what's broken. I don't know what's broken, and I don't know where to start looking. Yeah. And then when they find the thing or the things that aren't working, that hold, you know, that hold them up, then it's about how do we repair it? And that's not a simple answer as well. So then it's a process of trial and error in terms of, you know, finding various ways of repairing that issue or that part of their life. But in doing that, you need safety, because if something doesn't work, we need to make sure they're not going to go running back to that space, that we still have the safety around them. They've got connections, they've got coping mechanisms that are going to keep them growing forward. And so we quite often use that phase. I've been slapped around a few times because, you know, we call it recovery and growth.
Yes.
You know, the biggest learning resource for us are the people in that workshop, people with experience. And they'll come in and they'll sort of say, hey, this isn't a recovery process for me. This is a lifelong journey. No, I've got to learn how to grow forward with this. You know, I may not be able to fully repair it, but I have to learn how to grow forward. And so I'm thinking, that's beautiful language. You know, that's such beautiful language. It's like somebody who's been bereaved by suicide. You know, that grief doesn't end. It's ongoing. And it's, I remember one mother who'd lost a her son to suicide. And she sort of shared, it feels like someone's just amputated a body limb, and now I have to live the rest of my life without that limb. And I said to her, thank you so much for sharing that. It's a beautiful metaphor for us to be able to understand that journey forward. There's no recovery destination. It's just, how do I grow through this? What are the learnings through this process? And so that's kind of the range of programs that we offer.
Jeez, there's and I mean, there are, and what I'll do at the end of the video, I'll be able to put up a link to the website, so everyone can have a look at them. But yeah, I'll be keen to move on from the assist and move into the next part of that that training as well. But there are a couple that people can do online as well. I know during lockdown things would have changed for you and things like that. So yeah, to reassess.
So we couldn't you know, the Safe Talk and the Assist and the Suicide to Hope trainings, they are licensed programs. So they're developed by an organization called Living Works in Canada. So they're an international body. I've been around for about 30 years. So in respect to the owners of the program, we can't just, you know, sort of create online versions of it. But we did have a bit of flexibility around Checkmate and Suicide First Aid. So we've got another program called Growing Forward. So they still cover those specific roles. And and we can deliver those online, just to be able to keep people skilled. Because for us, it's just so important that the community is able to learn these skills so that they can help people in their families, they can help people in their communities.
Yeah.
We've got to make sure they're available whenever they need it.
Oh, 100%. I think we talked about it a lot, about having it at that grassroots level and things like that within communities. It's all well and good, I guess, organisations and things like that getting in behind it, but it's that grassroots community, people, that neighbours, friends, family, that sort of stuff, that is I guess, to drive it and get as many people skilled with those conversations and things like that. I mean, having done it, it's sort of, and I guess I've been around suicide, been around depression and things like that a lot, and talked to a lot of people about it. So I guess I was able to then just put what I knew into the steps that you talk us through. But like I say, it's doing the 2-day course is not something to be scared of. You come out of it feeling empowered, I guess, at the end of the day, and that's the way I felt. And I just think, like I say, I wish it was available for everyone, because it is something that I think will help and will continue to, especially in these uncertain times. It's sort of something that I think moving forward, the more people that we can get, even if it's not the assist, even the safe talk and stuff like that, and the more people doing these courses or programs, I think the better. Just having those chats. And I guess that was a big reason why I started up the Mates Matter New Zealand page, was because of that, because we just, blokes especially, just don't allow ourselves to open up and talk about our feelings and, okay, we're not okay. Whereas if someone comes up to you and is that safe person that you can talk to, then hey, then it is taking that step forward. Because I mean, what was it, 685 people last year took their lives. I don't know what it's going to be this year, but it's just heartbreaking hearing those numbers. So it's having people like you out there and doing these programs and stuff like that is brilliant. I think it is saving lives at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is. And it's all of us working together. I mean, once we've done the training, and I think because we've been doing this for so long, I guess the other space that we're hoping to get into is the mobilization of the people we've trained. You know, we had trained quite a lot of people over the years, but I kind of think where we kind of need to put more effort, and this comes down to time and resources, is the ability to be able to support those people who have been trained, so that one, we can see, are they using the skills? Two, what is the impact? Three, are there other people that they've had conversations with that also want to have some kind of a skill set? It doesn't always have to be the assist, it might just be awareness. It might be just the connector stuff. Or they might want to go the other end and be the people who journey with them through that whole growing forward pathway. So it's just, you kind of really see, we really need to be able to support that part of it. And it's great to hear and see what you're doing, because after the assist, you haven't just gone away.
Oh no.
You've connected.
I won't do that.
Yeah. And you haven't, and the cool thing is, with you, Craig, you've actually got an initiative in place. You actually have a heart for a specific part of our community that other people may not. You can see the need, and you can see potential solution. And so for the likes of people like yourself, it really gets us kind of all passionate and going, because we're like, here's somebody who wants to move with this skill set and, you know, help others and maybe enroll others into having some kind of a
definitely, because it is. And I mean, I guess for me, it's because I've seen firsthand what suicide can do. I mean, I've been there, and everyone that knows that this page will know that. I was within hours of taking my life, but I've also seen it with friends taking their lives as well. And it's just like, well, geez, if I had the tools that I have now, would have it made any difference? I don't know if it could have or if it would have, but I would have had a fighting chance to help them, sort of thing. So it's like, well, I don't want that sort of feeling for anyone else. I don't want anyone else to go through that sort of feeling of, geez, I could have done or should have done, or was there anything else I could have done? That's why I'm just so passionate about getting as many people, I guess, doing programs like this to just raise awareness. I mean, I walked out of the Cisco. This is awesome. This is great. I hope I don't have to use this, because in a strange sort of, it's like, yeah, I want to be able to have the tools to be able to do it, but I also want there to be a lot less suicides within New Zealand. But it's now I know that I've got this tool to be able to have those conversations. So it is. It's something that just comes straight from the heart, I guess, for me. It is just it is a passion, and yeah, I won't go away. I'll be wanting to drive this all through the Waikato for sure, all through New Zealand as much as we can. That's why I wanted you to come and have a chat, because I think a lot of people on within the Facebook group will want to do a program, or know people, or have groups of people that will be keen to get involved and do stuff. So I think it's just important that we talk about the organisations like yourself that are out there changing lives, helping lives, saving lives, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. And I mean, our part is to just try and get the community up. Because like you said earlier, we need to be able to have these conversations at the ground. And I guess, the reason why we hold true to the programs that we run is they cater, one of the core beliefs is anyone can help. As long as you're available and you're able to have these conversations, you're it. You don't have to be a counsellor or a psychologist, and I'm sure the counsellors and the psychologists would be more than happy to hear that other people in the community are able to help too.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be in the predicament that we are right now, which is just to overload on services. Because one of the things at the moment is, when people are working with somebody, or when someone's come across somebody who's in distress, and they're saying, I'm not coping well and I'm thinking about suicide, people panic.
Yeah.
They get scared and they call 111. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no.
And they move into fix-it mode.
Yeah, they move into panic mode and they move into fix-it mode. And this person is like, actually, why are you calling the police? I don't even know what I need. Like, just slow the process down a bit and listen to me. And maybe just through my kōrero, I might actually be able to help you find the supports. I mean, you might be able to help me find the supports I need.
Yeah.
I really, really hold on to that core belief that anyone can do this.
Oh, exactly. And I guess the main focus on the assist is you're making the person safe for now. You're not that psychologist or counsellor, and like the next step. You're making them safe for now to help them, to maybe go with them to the psychologist and things like that, and just giving them that realization that, hey, there is help, there is hope, there is, as cheesy as it sounds, a light at the end of the tunnel and things like that. So it's one of those things that it's not. You're not taking the role of a counsellor or anything like that. You are just exactly. Just you're there to just being a mate for them to listen to and talk to and care for.
So true.
And I think that's it. We do get scared of those conversations. And I don't think there's I mean, they're not, they won't be, they're definitely not comfortable conversations. They are tricky conversations to have, but the more we have them and the more we talk about suicide and depression, mental health issues, anxiety and stuff like that, the more it becomes easier to talk about rather than normal, easier to talk about, I think. And that's where these programs are gold. That's where I'd love it if just everyone, the government just said, here you go, there's all the money, away you go. Everyone go on these, go and do these programs.
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome, but that would be awesome. And sometimes we kind of have to get creative ourselves and figure out how to do this. If government doesn't pour money into it, I know they pour money into other things, but you know, in saying that, it's the thing that might help for now, and if they don't fund this way, I guess it comes down to us kind of figuring out how do we keep this going forward, because we have such a belief in it.
Yeah.
And just hope the next government round they'll see us. But it's not going to stop us doing it.
Oh, 100%. No, definitely not. Definitely not. Because like I say, you are helping and saving people's lives now. So and that's the thing. It's save one person's life. You've done wonderful things. At the end of the day, I think that's the main thing.
Absolutely. And it just keeps you going for the next one and the next one that you can help. And then you've helped them, maybe help someone else.
Help someone else. Exactly. Yeah, it is. It is that. It's paying it forward type thing. So it's definitely.
Yeah, naturally.
So what is AOK for the future? What are your goals for AOK then?
Cool. Well, like I said earlier, we've been doing this for a long time. We've been in the training room for a very long time. And you know, you kind of get to a point where you go, what's next? What's next? Because we've got a whole heap of people that also want to sort of get into the training room, and you're kind of going, okay, what is next? The next thing for us is being able to mobilize people on the ground. One of the things that we're really starting to hear now are regions wanting to take ownership of, the initiatives themselves. And one thing that I've learned is some of the gold mine community community solutions sit within the community, and here we are sort of sitting in Auckland trying to figure out what's the best thing for down in Otago. Otago already know. So I guess it's about being able to mobilize the regions so that they're able to deliver the training themselves.
Yeah. And
so for us, it might be a bit of stepping back and supporting those hubs, those regional hubs, and then being able to kind of keep them updated, keep them going, and maybe it's even about being able to create a resource so that those different regions know who to connect, other than the helplines that we have right now, other than the counsellors, being able to have a whole nother source of resources that have come out of the trainings. So that's kind of where we're moving, and it's really exciting because we get to meet people like yourself who have a real fire and a real passion. And for us who've been in it, have been in it for a while, it's contagious.
Oh, yeah,
it's contagious. So when you kind of are around people who are like, man, I want to do this, I want to see this, it's like, cool, we've got the resources.
Yeah,
we've got
for sure.
We've been to various cities around New Zealand more than a few times. And now it's about, okay, cool, how do we help the locals? How do we help the communities build that capacity from their own passion, from their own fire that burns within them? So that's kind of where we're at, and I'm really excited about it. It's kind of, I don't know, reignited something in me. Maybe
that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Sort of thing. So it's really, really cool because I find myself doing a bit more than I should right now. But I'm running on adrenaline because I'm just really excited to see what the communities are going to do with this.
Yeah. And I think it's the community, like you said, it's nothing against Aucklanders or anything like that.
Bad.
Yeah. But the thing is, that's the usual thing. It's like, well, okay, if someone's sitting here, how can they know what this area here needs and things like that? I mean, even we're just down the road from Auckland, and Auckland trying to tell Waikato how we should be doing things and things like that. I mean, I 100% believe that grassroots, the community stuff is where it's at.
Absolutely, it is. I mean, government are always trying to look for those community-based solutions. I'm telling you now, when you go into those communities, they're already doing it.
Yeah.
What's unfortunate is it's not being noticed, it's not being resourced, but it's probably better off, because they're doing it from a heart place.
Yeah.
And it's somehow working. But I think just from a national level, it'd be great to hear what those are and learn. But then it's unlikely that they're going to share it with me. but they're likely to share it with each other's regional hubs.
Yes, yeah.
Because you're
For
doing
sure.
the work, they're doing the work, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of gauging that. So when we're communicating with the different regions, they're like, we want to talk to the regions that are doing it, and I'm like, okay, cool. We'll connect you guys,
Brilliant.
because they really share the doing bit.
Mm,
Now we come in as trainers, we
yeah,
come in with the
exactly.
content, we come in with what we've learned going across country, but in terms of being, I guess, in that community,
On the
sort of,
ground.
yeah,
Yeah.
on the ground, building it from the ground up. They want to hear how other regions are doing it, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I know my place. So I'm like, okay, step back, let these guys talk,
Yeah.
but make sure that we're providing the resources they need to be able to
Yes.
build what
Yeah.
visions they have for their
Yeah.
regions.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really
But that's the thing, I guess. What works in Otago might not work over in the Bay, might not work in the Waikato, but you do just learn.
yeah,
And,
you do. It
and
might,
that is cool, just connecting the communities and things like that. I mean, that's be an awesome way to do it. For
and
sure.
you might actually hear something they do, and you might think, "No, it doesn't work for me," but it might just spark something up for you.
Yeah.
And you might,
Ideas. Yeah.
if we did it like this and like this, it'd be better for us. And do it. And like that's how it should be. We
Yeah.
should be igniting each other. And that whole interaction on a regional level is what happens at the human to human level.
Yeah.
When you
100%.
connect with someone, you're helping them find their answers. And so why would it not work at the regional level?
Exactly.
So you can
Exactly.
kind of see this just filters through.
100%.
It's really exciting. I'm really excited to learn as well, to see how people do things, what are the outcomes, and so that's kind of where we're moving in the future.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
great. I'm looking forward to seeing how it works out. And yeah.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing how Waikato
Exactly.
paves the way.
Exactly.
So I'm really looking forward to it, because you've got a big region and a big landscape.
I know, Waikato's massive. I keep forgetting how big it is. You sort of think just what Hamilton,
You guys are
it's
massive.
just there's everything else in between. And I mean, but the thing is that the diversity as well. We've got the farmers, we've got the construction, we've got the commercial guys, you've got the office workers, you've got just the diversity of so many people. That's why that whole grassroots
I agree.
people on the ground type thing's I think it's gonna be something pretty special.
Yeah, it is. And I know just from driving, I don't even know where Thames and the Coromandel were until I drove there. And I'm thinking, you kind of drive through these areas never thinking there's a city there.
Yeah.
And then, oh my goodness, there's a city here.
Just
There's a
pops up.
There is. And then you're like, and then further down, there's another city. And then you realize this is still Waikato.
I know. Yeah, it's paradise. We've got, yeah.
So, I mean, there's
we're a big area.
You are a big area. And I think what's going to come out of Waikato is going to be very unique to the landscape, to the people, to the diversity. So I'm hoping the regions that are almost, that are doing what they're doing right now, and with the resources we have, really looking forward to seeing how we can help you pave the way there.
Cool.
No pressure.
No, exactly. Yeah. I'm going to start putting ideas down, eh? The thing is, I think people get on board. That's the thing. I think once you hear word gets out that something like this is going to start happening, people come on board because they want to help, and it's because it's doing great things. And yeah, and I think it's just it'll start off small and then it will just grow, and it will be like you say, it's just connecting people and getting as many people trained up as possible to the programs, and even if it's just just aware, just through a suicide awareness courses and things, going, okay, this does happen.
Yeah,
this happens in New Zealand. And yeah, I think I'm excited. I think it's going to be, I think something like that in the Waikato will be fantastic. Anywhere in New Zealand actually will be fantastic.
Yeah, and I think the more regions hear what other regions are doing, I think it's just going to ignite them, them to do stuff. So on our end, we've just got to make sure we're prepared with templates, training packages, being able to run those kind of get-togethers so that you're all able to connect regularly.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I guess one of the things around AOK is it stands for Acts of Kindness. We didn't actually choose AOK in the sense of are you AOK? We chose it because of the acronym initially.
Yes, yeah.
Only because we wanted to sort of take away the what do you call it, like the professional element of the skill set.
Yeah, yeah.
Most people feel as if only people who are qualified and clinically trained can have these conversations, and in fact when you take that all out, and the clinicians will tell you too, it's just a matter of one human sharing, giving a bit of kindness to another human being, and that's all it is. And so, we're hoping that just through the act of kindness of talking and listening, that's what's going to help people.
For sure, for sure. That's fantastic. And I think that's probably a great point to finish.
Yeah, I agree.
So thank you so much for your time. I will, at the end of the video, the chat, and on the post, I'll put how to get in contact and things like that. But keep doing awesome things, which you guys are certainly doing. You're saving lives, which is something, that I guess a thank you doesn't really sum it up enough. But thank you for what you do. And yeah, I look forward to all the regions getting stuck in and spreading this as far and wide as possible.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Craig. Really enjoyed today.
No worries at all. Cheers.
Cool. See ya.
Bye.